Breaking news straight from the Nasdaq. The community is celebrating like never before. But we all know this already. However, with a huge excitement around the Palantir, people are blindly missing something very important. The Nasdaq news today are not as straightforward as you might think. This is way more complicated. Some potential bankruptcy news caused huge concerns about today. And people are now asking themselves, is there anything that we actually need to celebrate today? But what is actually happening? And what am I talking about? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. At first, today really started with some fantastic news. Palantir has finally joined the Nasdaq 100, a moment investors have been anticipating for quite some time. This wasn't just another day for those closely following Palantir. It was a milestone they had been tirelessly waiting for, holding on to hope with every passing announcement. And today, their patience paid off. The atmosphere surrounding Palantir right now is electric. Everywhere you look, there's excitement, celebration, and a renewed sense of confidence among investors and fans of the company. Social media is buzzing, discussions are heating up, and you can almost feel the collective joy of everyone who has been rooting for this moment. It's a big day not just for Palantir, but for everyone who believed in its potential. People are celebrating this moment everywhere, and one tweet sums up the excitement perfectly. It says that this has been a year to remember for Palantir shareholders. A year when the world really started to notice the company. The inclusion in both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100 in the same year shows how inevitable Palantir's rise is. The tweet calls this the start of a journey where Palantir's potential is finally becoming a reality and encourages everyone to take a moment to celebrate. And if we stop and think about it, 2 major index inclusions in the same year is a monumental achievement for any company. These indices represent the biggest, most important companies in the market. Being added to them means that Palantir has not only grown significantly, but has also gained recognition as a stable and influential player in the business world. The process isn't automatic. It requires meeting strict criteria, from financial performance to market impact. This isn't something that just happens, it's earned. What makes this even more exciting is something people might not immediately realize. When a company is included in these indices, it automatically gets more visibility and trust. Funds and ETFs that track these indices are now required to invest in Palantir. This brings in consistent buying pressure, more liquidity, and ultimately more stability for the stock. Beyond just the hype, it's a sign that Palantir has reached a level where it's hard to ignore, not just for investors, but for the entire market. This isn't just about celebration, it's about positioning for long-term growth. And here's the part that's really turning heads. This year's most explosive AI stock isn't Nvidia, as many might have assumed. It's actually Palantir, and the difference isn't even close. Palantir has surged an incredible 344% this year, leaving Nvidia's already impressive 184% gain looking modest by comparison. And what's even crazier is that this calculation was made before the Nasdaq 100 inclusion. So, with that boost and over 2 weeks left in the year, there's potential for even more growth before we ring in 2025. This realization is fueling even more excitement among investors. Everyone is wondering just how much higher Palantir could go, and it's creating a buzz that's hard to ignore. For a company that's been labeled as a sleeping giant in the AI space, this year has proven that it's wide awake and ready to dominate. But here's where the excitement might not last long. Something crazy is unfolding. Palantir's inclusion in the Nasdaq 100 pushed Supermicro Computer off the list, and that's where things get interesting. Supermicro is facing a nightmare situation right now. One Twitter user pointed out that not only does Supermicro not have audited financials, but it's also struggling with enough cash to even stay in business. That's a massive red flag, and something people need to pay close attention to. The situation has even sparked jokes online, with some saying it would be hilarious if Supermicro files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy before the extension Nasdaq granted them expires. But here's the catch. Supermicro hasn't filed anything official with the SEC yet. This means there's nothing concrete right now, and their advisors might just be trying to drum up demand and buy time for the stock. It's a classic Wall Street move, but for those closely watching, the cracks in Supermicro's situation have been clear for months. And here's where it gets serious for Palantir. While everyone is celebrating its Nasdaq 100 inclusion, this brewing disaster with Supermicro could cast a shadow. If Supermicro actually files for bankruptcy, it won't just be bad for them. It could reflect poorly on Palantir as well. People might start questioning the Nasdaq's decision. And if the situation escalates, Palantir could face potential reputational damage, especially among institutional investors. Worse, it might even lose millions in market perception or future partnerships. So, for now, the focus is on celebration, but the supermicro issue is a storm cloud that could grow bigger if left unchecked. But here's the thing. Palantir seems completely unbothered by the drama and is focused on delivering even more excitement for investors. Just now, it was revealed that Palantir secured 2 contracts worth $57 million. And while that's an incredible amount, it's starting to feel like business as usual for Palantir. These kinds of deals are becoming more and more common, a testament to the company's growing influence and demand in the market. But still, the timing of this announcement couldn't be better. Dropping this update now, right after the Nasdaq 100 inclusion, adds fuel to the excitement and reassures investors about Palantir's momentum. It's a way of saying, we're not just celebrating, we're still building. At a time when all eyes are on the company, this news reinforces confidence and keeps the positive narrative rolling. It's smart, strategic, and shows that Palantir knows exactly how to keep investors engaged. And what's even more exciting is that there's another major development worth remembering. Reports suggest that the United Arab Emirates is in discussions with Palantir to explore AI collaboration. This is part of the UAE's strategic push for defense modernization and technological innovation, and having Palantir in the mix could be a game-changer for both sides. This news only adds to the excitement surrounding Palantir right now. It shows that the company isn't just making waves in the US. Its influence is growing globally, especially in regions that are investing heavily in advanced technologies. It's yet another reason why investors are so thrilled about Palantir's future. And yet, some people are saying all of this was predictable. One user on Twitter pointed out, all you had to do 2 years ago was look at the organizations and the quality of companies Palantir was partnering with. They were the top 1% of organizations. Pay attention to the efficiencies Palantir provided the world's most complex organizations and listen to what Karp was saying. Some people still aren't doing this. Why? It's a great reminder that solid research often lies in looking at the bigger picture, who a company is partnering with, the problems they're solving, and the vision their leadership is consistently presenting. In Palantir's case, this approach clearly worked. Their track record with top-tier organizations, combined with the unique value they bring, made this growth path visible to those paying attention. But that question, why are some people still not seeing it, is really interesting. Maybe it's because Palantir's story doesn't fit neatly into traditional narratives about tech companies. It doesn't sell flashy consumer products, and its business model can seem complex from the outside. Or maybe it's just that some investors don't take the time to dive deeper into what companies like Palantir are doing. Either way, it's a great question to ask, especially for anyone trying to spot the next big opportunity. But there's something truly important to think about. And one Twitter user really nailed it when they said, Palantir community, read this, especially if you bought at a low share price like me. I'm tired of seeing amateurs tap out early. They linked a post that says, in theory, it sounds easy to buy a stock and do nothing. But in reality, many investors lose their nerve and sell too soon, before the stock reaches its full potential. That's a painful mistake. It's like having a winning lottery ticket in your hands and throwing it away. The big money is not in the buying or selling, but in the waiting, a quote by Charlie Munger. And well, this kind of commitment from Palantir fans is really encouraging. It shows that there's a strong belief in the company's future and a willingness to stick with it, no matter how tempting it might be to cash out. Investors who hold on through the ups and downs often find themselves reaping the rewards in the end. However, there's still a lingering question. Recently, some of Palantir's board members were seen selling off their shares, which raises some interesting concerns. We can't call them amateurs, as the Twitter post suggests, because they likely know far more than most of us. But for some reason, they're still making these moves, and it makes you wonder why. When you pair this with the update about supermicrocomputer, it creates even more uncertainty about what's really going on behind the scenes. But nevertheless, no matter how this all plays out, one thing is for sure. It's going to be an interesting ride to watch. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then turn on the notifications bell on this channel. Missing an important Palantir update might make you lose money. So don't risk it. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.